Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgiman and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Chainsaw Man chapter 152. So, what did you think about this week's chapter? I just want to start off by saying that I thought that this week's chapter was fantastic. I think it did a great job at setting up what's to come in the future, because now we see a new dynamic in the story that I wasn't expecting anytime soon, which is it seems like we're going to have Denji go on his own and be, departing from Naruto for the time being, at least, because in this week's chapter, it seems like there was a lot of tension and the beginning of the crumbling between the relationship of these two people. And it seemed, I can't blame him. Denji right now is at his weakest mentally, from a mental standpoint. He lost his apartment, he lost his home and his pets. So, right now, Denji is in a state of mind that I think that he just needs to be alone and has to process this, because, he knows that now, the gloves are coming out. He transformed into Chainsaw Man last chapter, and in this week's chapter, it seemed like he was really fed up with everything and just wanted to explode, and he does not want to, get Naruto involved with any of that, because he really cares about her and wants to protect her, and it seems like he is going to go and take the approach of, you know what, I'm going to do my thing, and I don't want to get you involved. So I'm very curious to see how that plays out in the future. Now, before I go any further with this week's chapter, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Chainsaw Man as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really, really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's chapter. So, how we start off this chapter is the same way that we left off last time, which is that Denji transforms into Chainsaw Man. Now, the very curious thing about it is that throughout it all, he is, very giddy, and, he seems like something's off with Denji. And Naruto, she tells Denji, hey, why did you pull out the chainsaws? It's fine. Let's get out of here. You don't need to transform into the chain. You don't have to use the chainsaws. Get out of here. There's no use. And Denji just goes, Naruto, stop. Get lost. Let me just do my thing. And that's the thing, Denji right off the bat, he's just talking back to Naruto, and that's something we don't see him do too much. So he seems at the edge, and like I said, I don't blame him. He's been through a lot as of recent, and this is the pinnacle of everything. And we see that he starts thinking to himself, and he starts having an inner monologue with Pochita, and he starts talking about how, Pochita, my home got burned down, my pets died, yet, I have this feeling, and, he's I should be feeling this, but I feel this instead. And then we see that the hybrids, they had taken down Himiko, and, they're ready to transform, and Denji, sees them transform, they start coming towards him, and Denji's like, thanks, guys. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to transform into Chainsaw Man, so, thanks a lot. And you see Denji just proceeds to fight these guys, and, this fight, the spear hybrid gets a clean hit on Denji, stabs him through the chest, and, you think to yourself, oh no, this is bad for Denji. But it seemed like Denji was, he was kind of had the idea of baiting himself, because after he gets stabbed through the chest by the spear hybrid, he proceeds to cut himself in half with the spear hybrid, because he's right behind him. So typical Denji fashion of, being a tactician at a battle, right? And while he's doing that, something very curious happened, because he then says, you guys are food, so I'm gonna eat you. And it's because he says thanks for the food as he's proceeding to eat, the spear hybrid. Now, the question is, when he meant thanks for the food, was he just drinking the blood to heal himself, or is he actually chewing on that? Because it wasn't too clear on the paneling. So my question is, if he actually devoured them, if he actually took a chunk of them and started eating them, would that theoretically get rid of the concept of the spear fear? Remember how Yoru got wounded by the Pochita back in the day, and that's how nobody knows about the concept of floor, and so that's why Yoru is so weak at the moment. Well, not anymore, but at the beginning of the story. So I'm wondering right now if that's if he actually starts devouring the hybrids, would that make it so either they get pretty much nerfed in the sense that they won't be as strong as they used to be, or would that just eliminate the concept of that fear? So that's something to keep an eye on, because I'm very curious about that as well. Now, while that's happening, we see that pretty much the whip hybrid tries to help out the spear hybrid, because the spear hybrid is done. My man got wrecked, and the whip hybrid tries to help out, and she also gets wrecked because Denji cuts off her legs. And then he's like, hey, oh yeah, you're right, lady, there's something, you were trying to tell me something, right? Is it that I gotta cook my food before I eat it? And he starts proceeding to once again chew down on the whip hybrid. And while that's happening, we see that Shugo, the sword hybrid, he's like, okay, I'm ready to fight. And this was kind of tragic, because throughout it all in the story, Shugo has always been a character that you know, he's always been manipulated even to the end, because we know in part 1 he was manipulated and always has been, you know, ever since Makima took over him. And I think it plays a nice parallel to, you know, Denji battling him, because he's kind of battling him, a younger version of himself, in the sense that, you know, if you look at it through a glance, if you look at it through someone's point of view, is that Denji is fighting, you know, himself, because that Shugo was literally Denji in part 1. So I think that Denji fighting his, you know, old self in that metaphysical version of it, I think he did a great job, and once again showing us where Denji is as a character. You know, he's no longer that blindly, you know, person that just listens to orders and, you know, he doesn't question anything. Like, he is his own man. And in this week's chapter, you really see that he's taking a foot to, you know, trying to figure out what to do and what he can't do now that he's once again Chainsaw Man, and the sacrifices that he has to do doing so. And while they proceed to fight, you know, Shugo and him, he proceeds to wreck him, and they have like a back and forward, but eventually Denji they both stab each other in the chest area, and then you see that Denji, like, you know, he defeats him. And while that's happening, Naito's like, hey, like, stop, like, let's get out of here. Like, and Denji's like, Naito, listen, like, you should probably stop hanging out around me. Like, this is not, like, nothing's gonna come out about you hanging out with me. Nothing's good's gonna come out. And then he has this metaphor about massages. Typical Denji with these wild metaphors. And he's like, you know, the things about massages, you know, if you rub it too hard, you know, it puts like stress, and like it doesn't feel great. But, you know, when you get the sweet spot, that's when it's great. And right now I'm feeling that mood. I have that sweet spot going on with me. So Naito, you should probably, you know, stay away. And then he starts laughing maniacally. And what I took from that metaphor, or that thing that Denji was trying to say, is that the message. I took that right now Denji feels like, you know what, Naito, I'm feeling great right now as Chainsaw Man. And I'm gonna be like, you know, I got that high right now. Like, I'm high on life, and I know that the way that I'm gonna proceed things going forward in the future is not gonna be beneficial for your safety. Because right now I'm public enemy number 1, and I know that if you associate yourself with me, you know, you're gonna get harmed. And we do know that Denji cares very, very much about Naito, and he would never want to put her in danger. And I think that right now, you know, him detaching himself from Naito, that's, you know, why he's doing that. He's doing that to protect her. And it was very, you know, it was very emotional, because you can see Naito's eyes, like, you know, she's in shambles. She feels terrible. You know, she cares so much about Denji, and Denji's just like pushing her away. And, you know, I'm sure that Denji feels confident, you know, knowing that, hey, if I give, you know, Naito to Himiko, she'll protect, you know, Naito. Now, whether or not Himiko is capable of actually protecting, that's a different story, because we haven't seen anything from Himiko yet, which is a shame. But, you know, I want to see what her devil contracts are. I want to see what she's capable of. So, you know, that's I was very curious to see if we were going to see something, but no, we didn't see anything this week's chapter. Now, another thing I wanted to mention is, like I said, if Denji consumed the hybrids, you know, what does that mean? Like, that's a big implication, guys. Like, if he ate these hybrids, like, does that mean that they're no longer, like, the hybrids are gone? Like, they can't transform. Either they can't transform anymore, or the concept of them are eliminated from, you know, history, or they just got nerfed. Or the fourth option, Denji just drank their blood and that was it. He didn't actually chew on them and, like, ate them like that. Because, like I said, it wasn't too clear in the sense in the paneling, at least for myself. I don't know for many of you guys, if you guys took it the wrong, a different way than I did. But maybe I'm overthinking things. Maybe he just drank their blood to heal. But proceeding, we see that pretty much, yeah, this was a great chapter. And I think that Fujimoto has been on his bag, man. Like, my man has been consistently cooking just fire nonstop. And once again, we seems like we get a 2-week break. So I think that's great for Fujimoto, you know, once again, you know, get some rest, not burned out, you know. Hopefully, you know, he got plenty of rest during the Christmas break. And you know, hopefully, if it was up to me, I would like Chainsaw Man to be a, you know, a bi-weekly kind of series, where every 2 weeks, because I don't want Fujimoto to get burned out. And, you know, like, I don't like seeing creators burn out, you know, especially seeing like animators with MAPPA. That's a different story though. But yeah, overall, I think that this week's chapter was fantastic, and Fujimoto has been on his back, like I said. Now, with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Chainsaw Man, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.